Welcome to Message Monday. Christian men, Christian walk, Christian talk with your hosts, Tony Briscoe and Gary Dotson. We discuss faith, marriage, family, parenting, politics, and mental health, world news, and most of all, faith again. Let's go. Welcome to Message Monday. What's up? What's up? What's up, beautiful people? Happy Monday. It is your boy Tony Briscoe here. I know I told y'all that we was gonna take a break for a while, but I'm not feeling a break right now. I feel like I need to keep this momentum going that we have, and really just wanted to check in with the people on tonight. So I hope everybody is doing well. Hope your families are well. And yeah, Gary would join if he can. Gave him a little bit of a late notice, so that's on me. But it is Monday, and we are here. Welcome to Message Monday, Christian Men, Christian Walk, Christian Talk, where the women are always welcome. Let's do what we always do. We always start off in prayer, but actually, I just want to start with a scripture tonight. Isaiah 40:28, King James Version of the scriptures. Hast thou not known? Hast thou not heard that the everlasting Jah, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary? There is no searching of his understanding. That'll be our scripture of the day that comes from the U Version app. Feel free to download it on your iPhone so you too can have your own devotional right and ready. And no, I am not paid by U Version to advertise. I just wanted to share that with you. Scripture on the go, always. Plenty going on in the world, but I wanted to stop. I did not bring this up, and it was not intentional. There's an event going on at Malcolm X right now, the Black Male Mental Health Tour, Just Heal Bro. That is headed up by Dr. Jay Barnett, who is also the author of a book. You can catch that on Amazon as well. No, I am not paid by him, just passing on information. Again, that started at 6 p.m. at Malcolm X College today. My buddy, my good friend Antoine Belmer is there, so I'm definitely going to ask him how that show, how that, I shouldn't say show, how that presentation was. um, they had a pre-event that was taking place, but it's at Malcolm X College. Malcolm X is one of the best and brightest city colleges in Chicago, located off 1900 West Jackson Boulevard, which is right down the street from the Chicago Bulls, Chicago Blackhawks United Center. And that's actually one of the things on my agenda to talk about tonight. Uh, Not necessarily in defense of black men, but I think we get an often bad rap for how things are going for us in society, be it due to our own detriment or be it due to life as life happens. But I did want to make mention of that. But I'm looking forward. I'm going to see if Antoine will be able to come on next week because I do want to talk to him about how he felt about the Black Male Mental Health Tour that is taking place by Living Hope Production. So it is probably a bit over now. If you're trying to get there this late in the game, you probably won't make it there in time. But black men and mental health surely is important, something we don't talk about often. We've lost some icons over the past week, or some people consider them icons, some may not. Shaft, Richard Roundtree, um, passed away. He was having some dealings and some battles with cancer. Not, I can't think of what type it was. I can't remember, but blessings to his family as they mourn. Also, want to make mention of our dearly departed brother Keith Pratt. His services will be on Tuesday, so we will also miss Elder Pratt and pray for his wife Pam, his daughter Aaliyah, as they begin to make plans for him. There is a GoFundMe I think they've shared as well. We've talked about GoFundMe's before. Deal with that a little bit later, but nonetheless, um, Bull from Night Court. So I don't know if y'all remember Night Court. Now I heard it's a new one out. I never knew it was a new one out, but the old school Night Court. I'm old school. So Bull, the tallest actor there, passed away as well. And then Matthew Perry from the show Friends. I think I've only seen one or two episodes of Friends. It was a complete ripoff of Living Single. Uh, Queen Latifah can back that up if you doubt my words, so you can talk to her. But Matthew Perry, it's no secret his struggles with alcoholism, no secret his struggles with, I think, Vicodin that he was on. He got hooked on opioids, and it just became a lonely, dark road for him for quite some time. Autopsy results, I think they're still pending, but hey, I don't really care. He's not here anymore, so we can get into, what happened. And when I say I don't care, it's not about him. It's about autopsy reports. Everybody waits for him and things like that. I think his life was an open book. He wrote a book about, his struggles, his journey, and yeah, so it happens. It happens often. I think one of the things that it's like when it's our family members that are struggling with drugs, like, we crack jokes, we don't have the same amount of empathy or the same amount of compassion. But when it's these celebrities, man, we sure give these cats a whole lot of love. And I think it's a disservice. And if you've never seen your parents shoot up or smoke crack, man, power to you, because it is not a pretty sight. I have embedded images in my mind and in my heart for a very long time. Um, just seeing those things like that and how they impact families, how they impact young people, how they impact children. And it's really tough to hear about stories like that. We think about DMX, who was, probably one of the most prolific hip hop artists of our time, who had longevity, but DMX battled demons, and I'm talking personal demons. I'm not talking about, um, not talking about the spiritual realm, though definitely influenced, as some of his music shared. But DMX was one of those iconic artists who had a lot of problems, and drugs was one of them. And while I'm not sure what necessarily took him out, I'm sure that drugs had to do a part of it. Even if you were clean for 10 years, the toll that it takes on your body over time. I've seen these things. I was in the hospital today visiting a family member that I will not mention, and their body is just broken for 70 years old. They look almost 87, 88 years old. So just imagine, drugs and a life of drugs adding a 18-year look to your life, and how painful that can be. So continue to pray for those families as well as they go through different things in different phases of their life and how they continue on in their respective journeys, however that turns out. So, lost a lot of known people. We gravitate towards these characters that we see on TV. It's natural. We have fan favorites that we like. I'm not sure if anybody watched One Life to Live out there, but I remember Megan had to leave the show because she had a stalker. To see Megan acting again, excuse me, on a TV show, on a Amazon series called Upload, to see her acting again and, moving on with her life almost decades later, is quite something. So, but these people on TV, like, we cling to them. We talk about the characters that we like on TV. And matter of fact, if you're tuning in, like, who's one of your TV characters that you love? What TV character has resonated with you in your life? What TV character, has motivated you? Could be, maybe it's an athlete that motivates you. Everybody talks about Kobe Bryant, Black Mamba, considerably strong work ethic, 4 hours of working out on the basketball court before a game that he had to play for 2 hours, sometimes 2.5 hours. So you think about things like that. But yeah, these characters on TV, they resonate with us. What character resonates with you? Hey, what's going on, Gary? So yeah, what character resonates with you that's out there in the known world? What TV icon? resonates with you. I don't know if y'all saw the last Equalizer, but man, I was a little worried about Denzel because man, my man tried to take himself out in there. You know, his bullet was empty. I don't know what was going on with him with John McCall, the character, not Denzel himself, of course, but things like that. Gary says Larry Bird and Walter Payton were athletes for him. Larry Bird, yeah, Larry Bird, man, he was an unstoppable shooter, bro. Like I don't think anybody could get with Bird, man. I remember I don't know if you remember Gary, the Atlanta Hawks game that Dominique always references. That they were booing Larry Bird, but after he started hitting so many threes, they just started cheering for him. Like he put on a show. And they also talked about how mean he was on the court too. Like he would just talk trash, trash, trash to you. But I mean, hey, some of our greatest athletes talk trash. Muhammad Ali was probably the biggest trash talker I've ever seen as an athlete ever. I don't think anybody talked more trash than Muhammad Ali. You can't even nope, not even Floyd Mayweather has talked trash like Muhammad Ali. Nobody could do it like Ali. He would lose a fight. He would talk trash before a fight, lose a fight, give credit to that dude, and then go back to talking trash again. Like that's how he was. He always said he was the greatest, right? And I think that's what bothers me. Like when people go at Floyd Mayweather, it's not okay for him to call himself the greatest fighter of all time. Why not? Muhammad Ali did. Mike Tyson did. So why is it not okay for Floyd Mayweather to call himself the greatest? Okay, so we'll put that out there. Yeah, Bird was unstoppable that game, Gary. I don't know what was going on. Yeah, facts on Ali, man. I mean, Ali knew how to work a camera. He was very charismatic in his approach, to a point downright disrespectful. Like if I had to put him with a movie character, it would definitely be Clover Lane because Clover Lane, coming at Rocky Wife like that, like that's just disrespectful. But that's who Ali was. I mean, he really did a lot of mental damage to Joe Frazier, man. Like he broke Joe Frazier's heart. The way he talked about him, the way he embarrassed him, in ways the way he played in the white supremacy for how he talked about him. It was definitely not good. Let's see. Gary said, but the social gravitas is that in which Floyd will never have. Ali was a man of the people. He lived the people. Yeah, that's true. Floyd lived strip clubs. And Floyd's a businessman too, but he owned a strip club too. Like that's not play like he don't. Like he flaunts his money a lot. And I think that's something that definitely Ali did not do. And Ali was paid. I remember a school field trip to his mansion here that he had on the south side of Chicago. I remember going there. I remember he had an elevator in his house. I remember touring the house as kids, and it was just something that was awesome. He's probably only one of the few athletes that I knew during that time. I only knew two athletes that I can remember from my childhood, especially when I was staying down in the Ida B. Wells housing projects. That was Muhammad Ali, and that was Mean Joe Green. And that's only because for Mean Joe Green, I got to play the kid in the commercial that he had, running around a field, inner gym at one of our community centers, saying, "Hey, everybody, look what Mean Joe gave me." And I was holding up this jersey, and he came to visit that community center back there, back in the day. So yeah, so those are some of the athletes that have influenced us over time. This time last year, I was in Ghana, y'all. I was away. I was in Ghana, and I wanted to get the people on who I went with. I just didn't make time to do it. I've had a pretty busy weekend, but what has changed for me since coming from Africa? I don't think anything. Well, I can't say nothing has changed. Of course, some things have changed. I still have a serious amount of compassion for our wayward young people, and they will continue to be wayward unless somebody picks up the torch. And I think there are a lot of torches that are already lit. Vondale Singleton and Champs. You've got I Am a Gentleman here, Project Hood, My City, My Block, My Hood. There's a lot going on for our young people, but I think until they actually get to a place to realize their history, where they come from, and who they are, they are. We're going to continue to see what we saw: 15 people shot at a Halloween party, that was hosted by three local comedians here in Chicago. One gentleman was asked to leave and he left, came back with a gun and fired into the crowd, shot 15 people. I believe two of them are now deceased. I heard there was also something that took place in Tampa as well. A shooting down in Tampa on Halloween. It's well, Halloween celebration. Halloween is tomorrow, so Halloween celebration that people were having, and I think it's we are just a gun nation. We heard about what's happening in Maine. The white gentleman took his own life after killing a lot of people and injuring a lot of people. I think it's tragic. And I read earlier today, I can't think of where it was. I don't know if it was Colorado, but there was somewhere where they found a gunman who had killed himself before he acted out. Guns, bombs, ammunition. He killed himself before he went to this park and just started to kill people. I'm not saying that's great that he killed himself, but hey, you got a choice between you and killing other people before you kill you, then eliminate yourself at the end of the day. That may not be very Christian of me to say, but I don't really know how to reconcile that any other way. This person self-inflicted themselves with a gunshot wound, as the person in Maine did when he took his own life. So I think it's tragic that the solutions to disappointment is to hurt other people. I think it's tragic that the response to rejection or fights or strife that gun violence is. I mean, it rules. It's like the Wild Wild West or the Old West that used to be here, in America back in the day. And those seeds of gun have been planted in this country's history and heritage for a long time, and there's no easy way away from them, especially from a conservative platform. And I do believe in a right to bear arms. And so, but again, it's only the law-abiding citizens who succumb to the laws. Everybody else does not. So definitely wanted to make mention of those things that are happening. But since coming back, from Ghana, my number one reflection is I'm still aware. I still keep tabs on what's happening in Ghana. They're dealing with some serious power outages right now. I can't think of what they call them, but it looks like their economy is taking a brutal hit, and it hurts because I fell in love with Ghana while I was there, just being on the land of my ancestors who were brought to Ghana. Ghana has the most slave castles than any other region that was there, right off the coastline. So I wanted to make mention of that. Do look forward to getting to Sierra Leone one day. I don't know how soon, but one day I do want to go back and visit Ghana next year. Though I want to be able to take my wife there, and I want to see my mentee. I want to see Henry again as well. But I must stay at the Kempinski Hotel because there's nothing like it. Okay, later for all that. So insights that I have, I've been reading. I have to get back into the destruction of a black civilization because that's one of the books I started a long time ago and never picked it back up to finish it. But as I begin to look deeper into biblical history, biblical genealogy, and looking at African genealogy and tracing our people, it's quite a work. I know there are people who've done the work already that we should just trust and believe in, but there's nothing like doing that work on your own and doing that work yourself. And so that's what I look forward to doing. World at war. Netanyahu has said no ceasefire in the incursion in Gaza. Emotions are very high talking about Israel, Palestine, Gaza, Hamas. And so I choose my words very carefully because one, people act like that they were not Palestinian Christians who also got bombed when Israel went on its onslaught. It's hard to say that if you wake up a hibernating bear, that you're gonna find it's not gonna sing lullabies to you. If you wake up a hibernating bear, that's exactly what's gonna happen. They're gonna show you why you should not bother us. And I think that's what we're seeing with Netanyahu right now in his onslaught against Gaza. And I know the world is watching. I know people are screaming. Some evangelicals are cheering. And it's interesting because some of these same evangelicals who are cheering are these same evangelicals who were praying for the death of President Obama, are these same evangelicals who were celebrating the bombing of 4 little girls back in the day down south. So, I think we should be prayerful for kids who get caught up in grown folk business, because this is exactly what we're watching happen. We're watching children, um, be those who were there when the invasion hit, when the attack hit the Gaza Strip, be it those who Israeli children who've been killed, those Palestinian children who have been killed and are being killed. You got to really watch how much information you take in and who you take in information from, because both sides can paint a one-sided story, right? You've got the Zionist movement on one side, and you've got the pro-Palestinian liberation, audience on the other side. And I just think you just got to be careful who you take in information from. But at the end of the day, I know they say prayer without action is not prayer at all. But I just think I know the power of prayer for my own life, and so we just have to keep praying for what's happening over there. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Netanyahu. There are people who are saying, and political analysts who are saying that, he's part of the problem why Hamas was able to do what they did, coming in with the kidnappings and with the killings and the slaughter that they've been accused of. Again, I'm not there. I'm not on the ground, so I don't know. And all the videos that we're seeing right now are only videos of what's happening in Gaza, which is typical. After something jumps off, the journalists get to go in and they get to see what's happening on the other side and not really be there beforehand to see what was happening. So it's tragic. It's tragic all around. So I just say continue to pray for what's happening in the Middle East. There are people who are saying that this has biblical proportions. I'm not an eschatologist. I don't necessarily agree with that train of thought and that line of thought right now, just because I haven't studied enough and I'm not taking anybody else's word for it. My views on Israel are quite different from a lot of people, especially evangelicals who I talk to, who I've spoken with in the past and everything. So I don't think anyone just holds one position, but my views are just different, and that's from some historical context. That's from talking to trusted people that I know. But at the end of the day, as far as the nation is concerned, the country and the land and the place, just pray for the folks, because I'm looking. You know, Tulsa, Oklahoma was not the only massacre that took place of profitable, profiting, and successful Black residents in America. Oklahoma's the one that gets most of it. I think Redwood is the second one, but there were lots of Oklahomas in America. And so when I look and people are, saying, do you know what it's like to have a building leveled? I don't know, but I know my people in Oklahoma knew. I know my people in Redwood knew. I know my people in South Carolina knew. I know that they know their ancestors, our ancestors. I know what they know, what it's like to be slaughtered, to have everything you've worked for blown up and torn to bits. So yeah, there are some things that are happening, and I just think prayer is just one of those things. Prayer and fasting is what's going to break this thing. But to not call a ceasefire, with so many innocent lives still there, I think it's problematic. But man is doing what man is doing. Israel has a king, and his name is Netanyahu, and he's already said there will be no ceasefire. We're at war, and we're not stopping. And I think, oh, I got a question for y'all. Are we talking about how do you get to a airport in Russia like those folks did to get to the runway? We're talking Russia, right? How do you let people storm an airport and then storm out past your runway and nothing happens to anybody? What? I'm sorry, this is Russia we're talking about. So I'm just want to be sure. Maybe they don't have the defenses that they have or the security protocols that they have. But I mean, if you can stop Brittany Grinder at the border at the airport for drug possession and keep her, how do you just let all these people storm your airport? Right. But again, could be propaganda involved here. Maybe it was intentional. Again, just from watching old Nightline 2020 shows with the former Israeli general and knowing how precise they move, I just don't see anything that took place in Gaza to kick off this hibernating bear. to wake up and just continue to attack, attack, attack. I don't think there was anything that the Mossad had to know, as far as I'm concerned. I don't have no proof, but I'm just saying Israeli intelligence is pretty solid and pretty tight, and I think that's important to definitely important to note that. So let's get down and talk about what's happening in Chicago with the migrant population. Man, they continue to come in droves. And it's a lot of questions to be asked about it. Outside of just being a sanctuary city, should we be also an hospitable city? If we're going to be an hospitable city, why don't the aldermen have any say in what the mayor is executing? There being some deals being done, and aldermen are just being informed. The same thing happened in the 21st ward with Alderman Mosley. The same thing has happened to other aldermen in their own wards, in their own communities. I think the interesting part is to find out that some of this is partially from the last mayor. But when you mayor Chicago, you mayor Chicago. When I took over my job years ago as director, didn't nobody want to hear what the former director had done. They were just like, "Hey, you in charge now, bro." So I didn't bring his name up because it wasn't necessary. Right? You in charge, you the mayor, nobody really care what you inherit. When you decided to run for mayor, Brandon Johnson, you decided you were going to take on everything that came with you being the mayor of Chicago. But if the word is true, Brandon Johnson, Mayor Johnson, that deals are being made and aldermen are just being told what's going to happen in their community, I don't know how that gives you another path toward being reelected. And I don't know how that too builds the relationship that has been severely damaged with Chicago aldermen and mayoral candidates or mayors that are currently in place. I think one of the things, and we've kind of mentioned it before, but just to highlight it, 29,000 Ukrainian immigrants are here. 29,000 over the past 18 months. At least that's what I believe on Axios website. I subscribe to Axios. Again, not paid by them. I'm just talking about where I read. 29,000. They talked about the difference being that the Ukrainians are actually sponsored through a federal program. So they were sponsored by a lot of families. Okay, that's cool. But there's still a level of care and treatment that they've had since they've been here. There's a federal program. That means it's a federally funded program for Ukrainian refugees to come here. 18 months, approximately 29,000. That's a lot. But the opportunities that they've had are vastly different from what's happening to the majority of Venezuelans who have been coming here. And I'm not saying that all of these Venezuelans are on the up and up. I understand some of them have been doing some, they've been accused of doing some things. I haven't seen them do anything, so I'm not accusing them of anything. But listening to one of the premier radio stations here, WVON, on yesterday, they talked about, some things that they've seen the migrants do, how they've gone into McDonald's and swiped food off counters, and things like that. Again, these are just the petty things people are bringing up. But in Chicago, stealing somebody's food, it can get you caught up quick, fast, and in a hurry. But you've got this largely Venezuelan population here. Where do we become just good neighbors and make sure that we are providing for them what should be provided? Or should we be providing for them? And these migrants, they're not going downtown Chicago. They're not going to any high rises. They're putting them in West Side communities, Southwest Side communities, and South Side communities, and Southeast Side communities, which is raising a lot of alarms. Now, we have our own tent city here already. I don't recall any Chicago mayor ever talking about building the tent city here, a warm tent city where they can live. And so winter is coming. We've had our folks in Tent City who have lived in subterranean weather, sub-zero weather in order to maintain and live. And so I think the problem is that we're talking about is there's a difference between how immigrants who have the skin color of white are treated, how European immigrants are treated versus how people of color are treated when they come from other countries. And I think that's what we're talking about. There's no equity. There's nothing that's shared. It's different every time. And I think that is what's really upsetting people. It's upsetting people because we continue to see that black and brown are treated differently. And now we have our own inner wars going on between black and brown, which shouldn't be. If you look at Black Panther, uh, a lot of people came out. Some people take movies to the extreme, but a lot of people came out and was like, "Hey, this was a perfect example of she should have killed Namor. She should have just killed him and got rid of his people, as opposed to building unity and unification." And so when you look at this united front or this combining of forces between Wakanda and the underground Aztec culture, or Mayan culture, I think they were Aztec though. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody out there. But you look at the merging of these two powerful forces. I look at that as what really former Mayor Harold Washington really had a good grasp on the Black and Latino coalition back in the day. And I think it was very strong. I don't think we've seen that anymore, at least not in my age. And I'm pretty older now, but we don't see that kind of unity happening. We see more and more division and race baiting, if you will, amongst Black and amongst Brown. So, but Mayor Johnson, somebody help me get him on my show on a Monday night so I can talk to him, y'all. I love to have him on. I voted for Brandon Johnson because I just believe he was the best choice between him and Paul Vallis. And I can say I'm not necessarily happy with the way he has responded to um, crime, particularly young people in crime. And I'm not talking about laying a heavy hand. I'm just talking about do what needs to be done back in the school systems to get it back where it used to be. Bring back those trades that really grabbed our kids and our young people's attention and help them change what they do. Speaking of young people, I've been teaching spoken word class, and I have been pushing my class at Gary Comer College Prep to really dig deeper. And I'm a serious writer. So when I spit serious. I don't have time for games. I don't have time. I'm a wordsmith. I don't like to mince words. I think words are too valuable. And one of the students, she shared a piece Thursday night, and she did not come back to class. She had to step out to compose herself. Our young people are dealing with so much, fam, and I think we owe them. I think we owe them. I'm going to say we owe them a conversation before we judge them. She was in so much pain after she shared this piece, just thinking about watching her dad and watching her mom interact with each other in ways that she was not pleased of. And then she questioned, man, am I going to turn out the same way? And I think that's the part that really just made her pause and step out of the room. Because you think that our kids, they don't do what we say. They do what we do. They do what they watch. They do what they observe their parents do. And I think that is the real challenge. And that's why I say we owe them at least a conversation to understand where they're coming from. It's just got to happen. And I am big on discipline, but I'm also big on protecting young people as well. Like the young people that I'm hard on, they know I love them. They know I love them. But I think, man, spoken word is just one of the ways that I've been able to reconnect with the students at Noble and Gonna work on a book for them, giving them some requirements, laid down some requirements for them that if they want to write a book, we'll get it published for them. That's my commitment. And maybe they can use that for some scholarship money, and we'll see how things go. But our young people, yeah, they need to have conversations. What's up, Big V? Good to see you out there, bro. I want to spend a little bit of time before I close with the question of the week. The secret wars of men. One of the reasons I wanted to hop on the show tonight. I know I wanted to say we were going to end last week and take off the rest of the year, but I continue to run into men who are just dealing with a whole lot and have nobody to talk to. And I see it mainly in a public forum. There's occasions, and I think I need to do more to really walk in my purpose more, to talk to men who are really struggling. I'm not a psychiatrist, and I don't think a lot of men may need a psychiatrist. We just need somebody to talk to, a brother we can count on, and a brother we can talk to about anything. And I just think men are afraid. I think men are afraid to open up to other men. I think we are often, specifically black men. I think I'll say this. I think we are, in terms of how society feels about us, not everyone in society. So I don't want to take this long road down that dark path. I'm not looking for a pity party here. But I think in terms of our worth and our value, people not banking a lot on us, bro. Like that's just real facts. They're not. In corporate, I got a buddy, probably one of the smartest men I know, who has applied for a job within his organization at least 4 or 5 times to be turned down. Two master's degrees, bro. Two master's degrees. One of the most intelligent men I know. Like corporations out there who have highly qualified black men or just qualified black men. We ain't even got to go to highly qualified, because I've seen what non-qualified white men are able to do in spaces that they're able to navigate to the top. But for corporations out there, what are you looking for? Why are you passing up qualified black men? I've seen black men with 10, 12, 13, 14 years experience, and you'll bring in someone who's either a woman, white, a woman, black, a black male who may be part of the LGBTQ community, but that heterosexual black man, no, brother, the world is not feeling us. They not feeling us, bro. And this is things that black men have to eat every day when we walk into the office and see ourselves continually passed over. To get to that C level. I talked to a gentleman. He was like, "Well, Tony, why do you want to be a CIO? It's too much pressure. It's too much stress. And, you're never going to see your family. And you're this. I'm like, would he say the same thing to a white man? Would he say the same thing to a white dude? That why would you want to be a CIO? It's too much pressure. It's this is that. I know a personal friend who, well, why do you want to be at this level? What do you mean? Why do I want to be at this level? Isn't this the level that people strive for when they've dedicated their time, when they've been committed, and when they've been proven? So I stopped feeding my daughter the lie. I stopped telling her to work harder than the next person. I stopped feeding her this so-called playbook of corporate America, because she watched her dad, who she know is a serious worker, run into the same issue. With degree, with certification, with experience. Grinding my behind off. So I had to stop feeding her that lie junior year. Hey, babe, look, I know I told you that hard work is gonna get you where you want to go. Yeah, it's not. So I'm in this phase of just trusting the Lord, leaning not to my own understanding, but in all my ways acknowledging Him so He can direct my path. I'm a Christian. Sometimes we get off course. This is why we got the word to get us back on course, right? But when it comes to black men, my old boss, man, this dude, again, I know smart men. That's all I can tell you. Eddie out there, Eddie's a super smart dude. Big B, super smart dude. Gary Dotson, super. I know some very smart. My old boss, man, Cornell grad. That's Ivy League, baby. Magna cum laude, Northwestern, master's degree, MIS. Big business, baby. No opportunities were given to him that have been given to white men at all. None. So I've had to shift my thoughts. The Lord has had to remind me, son, didn't I tell you, put not your confidence in man or the princes of this world? Yeah, you told me that. Well, what did you do? I put my confidence in man and the princes of this world. So who you disappointed in, really? Myself, Lord. I expected the world to do opposite of what the world does. That's on me. So God always has a way to get us centered back on Him where it doesn't become an issue about man or corporations or business. It becomes a mission about our relationship with Jah, where He wants us. So I picked up my old journal from Murder Mediocrity with Lionel Harris. I had to go back through my purpose and see if I could recall it off memory. And I said, yes, my purpose is to glorify God by helping men and women who are bound with childhood issues to help them write their own deliverance through creative writing so they can begin to live their best lives. That's Tony Briscoe's purpose. That's what I get to do on Thursday nights, on Thursday early afternoon at Gary Comer College Prep. I get to tap into, I'm with young black boys and young black women who have going through still some of the worst periods of their lives as young people by the things that they're witnessing at home or on the streets or that their friends are going through. That's purposeful living. I have been asked to pastor twice. Twice. And I said no. See, when it comes to purpose, you not also need to know what your purpose is. You need to have an understanding of what your purpose isn't. I'm going to repeat that. You not only need to have an understanding of what your purpose is, you need to have an understanding of what your purpose isn't. Asked the pastor twice, turned him down. Because that is such a calling and that is such a weight. That's not a feel good moment getting a call to pastor. You feel me? That's not a feel. Oh man, somebody asked me to pastor a church. I'm ready for it. No, you should not feel good about that. You should struggle. You should be like leave my job, like pastor full time. Oh, work and wait a minute. You have to know also what your purpose isn't. So nobody can put you in a box. This is why you can't go for titles. So I'm not even mad at the dude who was like, Tony, why do you really want to be a CIO? Do you know the amount of hours you're going to have to put in as a CIO? You're going to be working on vacation every time. I'm like, I kind of do that already. But that's another story. But you got to know what you called to do. You got to figure it out. And that's going to take some time to do it. But the secret wars of men, some of us got a late start on retirement, on investment strategies, on life insurance. Some of us got a late start. Don't judge people for their late start. If they started late, do what you can to help them get up to speed. Even if they never gonna be where you are. Help them out. Reach out to them. But brothers, we got to talk to each other. We can no longer afford to suffer in our own mess. Scripture says, confess your faults one to another. And unless you tempted by the same thing, pull your brother up. But we really have to get better at talking to one another and reaching out to one another without pride. Pride is killing us. But I know why. It's because of the pressure that we feel. I can guarantee you, if I had $1 million in the bank right now, I'd still be stressed about something. Because that's the pressure of society. But we got to start drowning out voices that are not meant for us to hear. And that takes work and that takes time. And if you don't want to talk to your wife about it, just say, hey, babe, I just need you to pray for me. She gotta cover you. There's a lot we don't talk to our wives about, and we never will, because they burdens are not our burden to carry. Now, there may be a little pride in that. That may be. But we're the head. But that doesn't mean we can't find somebody to talk to. I'm pro counseling. If you need help, go get it. If you need professional help, go get it. Eddie's very open about how he feels sometimes. He'll put it on his post for the world to see, and not in a pity party way. He's just like, hey, look, I needed a mental break these last couple of weeks. I had to take it. But in essence, brothers, there's a song. It's an old song too. I can't think of the brother who, I think he was in Hootie and the Blowfish. Was it Hootie and the Blowfish? He's a country singer now. But he's got a song with this dude called Max. But it's about what men deal with. It's a very powerful song. It's a country song too. I like a little country, y'all. You know, I kind of grew up on Kenny Rogers, Cowardly County. So The Gambler, that's what my grandfather played all the time. So that's all I know. We got to be in a place, y'all, to help each other out. And that's really why I pushed the show tonight. I pushed to come on here because I'm like, you know what? No retreat, no surrender. That is Spartan law. Although the failings did get broken by a brother. I think that was Hannibal Lecter, but Hannibal Barter, not Lecter, Hannibal Barter. Question of the week before I close. Can you be an entrepreneur and be nice? A friend of mine who is a fabulous baker. I mean, fabulous. First of all, she can cook. I've known her since we were 14 years old. She's been cooking since then. She is a monster in the kitchen. She's a baker. Well, I saw a post from her yesterday where she was so disappointed. People who are close to her, she took an order from them. And typically, she asks for an advance. She didn't do that this time. She didn't ask for an advance. And you know what happened? The two people didn't show up to pick up their cakes that she took time to bake. Are we too nice as entrepreneurs? Now, I try to really do good by the community, right? I'm waiting to be paid for a gig right now that I just did. Didn't take an advance. That's on me. You know, I tend to trust people probably too much. But again, like, our entrepreneurs, are we trusting people too much? And it's costing us too much in the process, or it's making things worse for the next client that we like to bargain for. And I say there are times when, yes, I know me. Like, you know, I'll get on my wife for not charging for the teaching that she does a whole lot of money, and then I'll turn around and do something for free just like that. You know, because I really believe in blessing people. Like, I spent 2.5 hours on YouTube yesterday because I want to master my cameras. Like, I've been playing around in manual and all this, but I want to master this photography craft, right? I'm not into Photoshop or any of that stuff, but I want to master all my settings inside of my cameras. So I spent 2.5 hours on YouTube yesterday playing around with aperture priority, playing around with the TV setting, playing around with the manual setting. I just spent time learning and perfecting my craft yesterday. And there are people who don't want to pay for that time because they don't know what goes into the gift or your business or your entrepreneurial spirit. I know people who would just, I breathe different. I believe the Lord takes care of me. So if I get somebody a discount, I believe God got me on the back end already. That's just how I flow. But I see so many people who have had damaged relationships because they compromise part of their business for friends, for family. And then you get stuck. What do you do with that? I don't know, fam. But I have to always remember that I am called to be a blessing to people, which does not mean cheap, which does not mean don't charge. It just means I always try to be flexible and reasonable. But I had to say, she was pretty upset. And I just told her, hey, whenever anybody cancels one of your cake orders, you just got to pick up the phone and call me. Now, I don't know if Claire Huxtable over here need to find out what I just said, but I'm just saying she watches out for her brother. But that's what I wanted to share tonight, fam. Hey, before I get out of here, a year of purpose starts now. So if you're looking to transform your 2024, hey, mom, that my mama, y'all. That Lee Wells. Boy, I love me some Lee Wells. I'm gonna call you after the show, mom. I saw mom today too. I went to see her today. I'll tell you about it. That's Lee Wells, y'all. I love that woman. That woman right there. That they don't make them like her. I'm just gonna tell y'all that they don't make them like her. Okay, I love that woman. I love that woman. Your year of purpose starts now. Now I know you all have heard me say one name quite often on this show, Lionel Harris. I was in Ghana with Lionel Harris. Matter of fact, it was his transformational tour to Ghana that I went with him on. I went with him. I went with his group. Outstanding man, a man of integrity. Sometimes he reminds me of Eddie, only in the sense of hard to listen to, mainly because of the facts that they spit out all the time. They cut deep because truth should hurt. Lionel Harris is a life coach. He's a transformational life coach. What I really like about Lionel Harris, he said it on his show and he said it live. I went to his purpose course a few years ago. He does not take clients that do not believe in God. And it's not discriminatory. Now, notice I'm using God in the general sense. Lionel said, I cannot take a client who only believes that the center of the universe revolves around them and they have no concept of anything outside of them that's greater. That's integrity. But if you're looking for a life coach, you got a job out there that you want to get, you need help setting it up, you want to build something, you don't know how to plan it out, LionelHarris.com. Just go check out his website, do your own research, go for it out there on your own, and just tap into him. Now, his charges is his charges. I ain't got nothing to do with that either. You can't say Tony Briscoe's name and get a discount. I would still try it, but I'm just saying, I'm not saying you'll get a discount. But I say that to say we cannot wait for a new year to start a new year. I had some really good goals this year, and I was not successful at all of them. I took an exam and passed that I had no intention in taking. I took another boot camp course. I took an exam twice that I did was not successful at. That was really one of my goals, and so I've had to revamp some things, slow down a little bit. I know I'm moving fast. One of my good brothers tells me all the time, Tone, you got to slow down. And I put on my Facebook page the other day, I woke up late, so just pray for me. But I also know that I have to trust in the Lord with all of my heart and with all of my might. Because at the end of the day, He is the provider. But I still have to work, because if a man doesn't work, a man doesn't eat. So my faith is action. Frederick Douglass, as my man Lionel quotes all the time, I pray that the Lord free me, and I'm paraphrasing, until I learn to pray with my legs. Prayer is action. As we come into this holiday season, what's up, cuz Fred? As we come into this holiday season, call your strong friends. People mourn this time of year, parents who are gone, friends who are gone. If we think about the people in Palestine, those Christians who have been killed by strikes from Israel, um, those Muslims who've been killed, uh, the Israeli soldiers who've been killed. Like, yeah, it's celebrations, it's celebration time. This holiday season, just keep people in prayer. You never know what people are going through. I will be eulogizing one of the elders at our church. We'll be eulogizing him. I'll be speaking there on Thursday. Thanksgiving is coming up, and he won't be with his wife and his daughter. They were already suffering from a tragic loss of a daughter 3 years ago in a horrible car accident. So just pray for people. Um, Pray safe travels for them. Let's pray safety for all homecomings this weekend, particularly North Carolina A&T, where my baby girl is. Pray for her as well. She's doing amazing in school. I'm so proud of her. She is becoming, man, God is just doing the work. He gets all the credit and all the glory. Pray for loved ones, fam. People need prayer. People need you to reach out to them. If you are able to bless somebody financially, don't even ask them if they need anything. Just send it. Don't ask. People prideful this time of year. Just send it. Just send it to them. Don't even ask them if they need something. Just send it to them. All right. I will catch you all next week. That's right. Not shutting down yet. Maybe in December, but right now I'm gonna keep this gravy train moving on this show because I love coming on. Love talking to y'all. Thank you all for tuning in, staying with me, and please allow me to cover you in prayer. May the peace of God, which passes all understanding, guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Father, we pray for the wars that are raging from Haiti to the other parts of Africa, especially that which still takes place between Eritrea and Ethiopia, to Ukraine and Russia, to Israel and Palestine and Gaza and Hamas, to the wars on the streets of Chicago, where gun violence still plagues us like it plagues other cities. We pray that we become good neighbors for the migrants who are coming here. And we pray for peace between the Chicago mayor and aldermen. I pray for my young people who I'll meet with on Thursday, Lord, who are dealing with a whole lot of things: pressure from school, pressure from college, applications, FAFSAs, parents not being able to afford for them to go to the schools that they want to go to. They're angry, they're upset. And I just ask, Father, that you make a way for them. As you blessed us, I ask that you bless them as well. Keep those who are having health challenges. Be with those who are grieving and mourning. Those families in Maine uh, who lost loved ones. The young man who is the son of his father who killed those people and then killed himself. We pray for him as well. We need your love, Lord. As Kirk Franklin said in one song, our world needs you right now. Bless these people this night In Yeshua's name, amen. God bless you, beautiful people. Have an amazing day. Have an amazing evening. Ma, I will call you in about 10 minutes. Love, fam. I'm out of here. Welcome to Message Monday. Christian men, Christian walk, Christian talk with your hosts, Tony Briscoe and Gary Dotson. We discuss faith, marriage, family, parenting, politics, and mental health, world news, and most of all, faith again. Let's go. Welcome to Message Monday.